Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for serving God by showing up for our kiddos each week. You're playing such an important role in their faith journey. This Sunday, as we continue our theme, 5K, Run the Race, by learning about commitment, making a plan and putting it to practice, our focus will be practice hearing from God. We will be instilling the truth that you need to make wise choices. In our Bible story from Matthew, we will hear the story about a wise and a foolish builder. Our memory verse for this month is, training the body has some value, but being godly has value in every way. It promises help for the life you are now living and the life to come. 1 Timothy 4:8. Our opening activity is going to be, what do you hear? You're going to have a basket of different items that make noise, whether it's a clinking stapler, the marker cap on and off. There's easy ones like a maraca. There's bubble wrap, foil crinkling, a paper bag opening, and the sounds that it makes. You're going to show all the kids the items without showing them what I sound like at first. Show them the items and then have them turn around, and you're going to choose an item to make noise with and see if they can guess it. Encourage them to raise their hand. Wait until you call on somebody. That way everybody gets a turn to think about what the item might be. Then if the person gets it right, you can invite them to be the next one to come up and be the noise maker for the next round. Then our next activity is going to be a building one. For this activity, you're going to split the kids into teams and tape a finish line across the other side. Each team is going to get a towel and 10 cups to work with. They're going to have 1 minute to build a structure on the top of the towel with the cups, and you can define the parameters that maybe it needs to be 2 layers high to make it fair for everybody, so one team doesn't do just like all the cups in 1 layer and then others do it in 3. And then when the timer goes off, they're going to, as a group, as a team, they need to pull the towel across with the cups on it. So that means each team member needs to be helping with that. If their structure falls, they go back to the starting line and rebuild it and try again. When a team successfully crosses the finish line, have them encourage the other teams along as they finish. And then once all the teams have completed and you prepare for a large group, tell them that even though the building was pretty easy, the building part was easy, it was really hard to make sure that it didn't fall. In the Bible story, you're going to hear about 2 men who built houses, and we'll find out what happens when what they built. Then after your Bible story, from Matthew, you're going to do an activity where this is like a demonstration from the leader. So you're going to have Play-Doh and you're going to have sand. And you're going to pour the sand in one bowl. The Play-Doh you will put in a ball in the other bowl. Each one of those you're wanting to stick one of your golf tees. You're going to put it into the Play-Doh, and then you will put the other golf tee into the sand. So for our demonstration purposes, I'm going to leave the sand in there. So the golf tee will sit there. Then you're going to get a cup with water, and then you'll pour a little bit of the water. Talk about the Bible story before you do it. Talk about this golf tee represents the house that was built on the strong foundation, and then the house that was built on the other foundation, and maybe have them take guesses on what's going to happen. And then pour the water into each one and see which one stands strong. Okay, and then you want to make sure that you talk about the storms that we're going to go through, that he makes it clear that anyone who hears his words and puts them to practice will stand strong when tough things happen. Problems at friends, struggling with something at school, something hard happening at home. All of these storms in life are easier to get through by hearing and doing what God says. One way we practice hearing from God is by listening to our Bible story. After that activity, you're going to move on to handing out each kiddo a secret sentence activity page. For this one, they're going to decode a message. And for example, if the first box is a penguin, they're going to put the letter P here. So whatever the picture stands with, rainbow would be R. They're going to put that first letter in those boxes. Once they decode the whole message, have them turn their paper over and draw a picture of a way that they can practice hearing from God. And then once everyone's done, encourage them to go around the group and share what they drew and about the ways that they can practice hearing from God. And then make it personal. Share about a time where you had heard God through either the Bible story or a devotional or another person teaching you. Our next and final activity is going to be our blocks. Okay, you're going to need your set of blocks. There's 8 of them, and they'll have the memory verse written on them. You're going to take this set of blocks and break it all apart and put it in a pile across the room. And you'll need this one for each team. So there's enough for all of your groups. And you're going to have your kiddos in teams, have these all broken up in a pile at the end. And then you want to have them go over the memory verse, 1 Timothy 4:8. Have them look it up and read it together. And then reread the second sentence and talk about how being godly has much more value than anything else that we could train our bodies for. Because we want to focus on just that second part. But being godly has value in every way, because we have a long memory verse this month and we want to help our kiddos break it down. So you're going to do this relay style. One team member runs down to get one block, but here's the key value. They've got to use their elbows to pick it up off the ground. So they've got to pick up this block with their elbows, run back down to their group and put it in their group pile. And then once all of their pieces are there, they're going to put it in order and they're going to practice reading it over and over with their team. Just like we have to practice things lots of times to get it right, when we practice hearing from God, we get better at it. And that can make us more like Jesus. Finally, as we're wrapping up and waiting for parents to arrive, you're going to put those sound makers, those noise makers back out in front of your group and remind them of the opening activity. And you can make sound with each one of them again and remind them how they had to listen carefully for the challenge earlier. And then that they need to listen carefully to hear from God when they read their Bibles. Tell them that you're going to be asking them for ways that they practiced hearing from God throughout the week. And then lead them in prayer, asking God to help them as they practice. That takes a lot of patience. Well, that wraps up our Sunday together. If you watch this video in preparation to lead your small group Sunday, text Timmy the word RUN for a chance to win something awesome from him. Thank you, leaders, for serving with us and growing with us as you watch your kiddos grow in their relationships with God. Have a blessed week.